Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bunbun.
We are here with another edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. And in particular, we're going to talk about something that's pretty crazy, but at the same time, could actually be discussed more and more as this week goes on. And that is this question of could Drew actually throw the blockbuster this week? And could this actually, bizarre as it seems, be the right move for his game?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's such a wild move. And because D has targeted him before, twice before, him throwing the blockbuster, I mean, it's really a wild choice to make.
Yeah, there is a case for it, a case against it. There are signs that this might be something that Barrett even pitches directly to him
Mhm.
over the next 24 hours because we've got a lot of priorities that are sort of in flux at the moment. But I think for Barrett, he is thinking a lot about how can I preserve both Drew and Mallory, two people who I really do care about, especially because, and this may be bizarre to even hear, but Barrett has woken up like 10% over the course of the day. That 90% may still win out, but that 10% is there.
It's there, but it's not materializing into much of anything. It is still Barrett, and we are still many, many weeks into the game.
Well, we will get more into everything that is going down, what scenarios there are to talk about when it comes to this eviction vote, and so much more. But before we go any further, be sure to join our YouTube memberships.
Mhm.
We are covering exclusively Big Brother every week there with a new
Yep.
video. Our latest one is all about mid-season rankings. We are talking
Mhm.
about where these people stand at this point. I mean, heading into what is the 1,000th episode coming up later this week.
Huge.
Yeah, like such a big milestone. And by joining our YouTube memberships, you guys help to support us so that Jess and I can continue to do this content. And we are so, so grateful to everyone who has this season.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, let's just start here with here's where everything stands when it comes to vote scenarios. This is Tuesday, it's not
Yep.
even Waffle Wednesday. Everything can change.
Yeah.
If it is Mallory versus Taylor, Mallory goes. That seems to be fairly clear, at least among like the people in power, aka the icons.
Yeah.
If it is Drew versus Taylor, Taylor is probably leaving the game. And then if it's Mallory versus Drew, Mallory goes for now, but this is where it gets a little bit dicey and it kind of gets into this position where it could be a tie and D has to break the tie.
Yeah, and I mean, if Dee really has to break the tie, I feel like she's gonna end up with Drew. I mean, she isn't really working with Mallory.
Mhm.
They had the mosh pit, but now, two members of the mosh pit are on the block here, so clearly the mosh pit is no more.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that Mallory is just sulking and playing the blame game. Like she's literally started having conversations, but we'll get a little bit more into that
Mhm.
in a moment. But let's just get a little bit more into, though, this idea about Drew possibly throwing the blockbuster. Originally, this started with Barrett suggesting it to Mallory yesterday. And I think at that point, we can all just be like, okay, he's just giving her an element of lip service
Right.
here that, if Mallory wins the blockbuster, then Drew may stay. And then all of FAP sticks around, which I think technically where things stand right now, all of that is true. Like Drew would stay over Taylor if Drew throws the blockbuster.
Yeah, probably, but it
Yes.
is Tuesday, and the idea that Barrett has here of all of FAP is going to stay together. I mean, Dee would be thinking that as well. Not necessarily that she's like, okay, they're for sure all going to be working together, knowing that Barrett is loyal to her and Drew has shown himself to be loyal over and over again. But she may be like, we really need to break these four up. If I can't get Mallory, I can get Drew.
Knowing the way D has played and knowing how paranoid somebody like Angela is, and Angela already spent this morning being like, these four were up really, really late, and
Yep.
so I just, it feels like there is a good chance this is all going to spiral into we do need to get rid of a person from FAP no
Yes.
matter what. Like that is why this is a really, really big risk for somebody like Drew to take. Drew claims that he wants to be crazy at times. He does seem like he idolizes Dr. Will. Like, you could argue this is something, but Dr. Will has never played with the Blockbuster, so it's like, okay, we never really know for sure, right?
No, you never know. But throwing your safety away when you're past the halfway point and you're getting closer and closer to life changing money, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it really doesn't.
Well, today is when it felt like this notion started to go from theoretical, something that's just like a glimmer in Barrett's eye, to, oh, maybe I should actually talk about it with him at some point,
Mhm.
because Barrett and Devins had this talk early this afternoon, and in it, it felt like Barrett started to get a pretty clear sense that, oh, Mallory is the target for you guys, because Devin started to say kind of identical things to what you were saying just a second ago. Like, oh, there is this four-person group, maybe we should get rid of somebody like Mallory. And he paints this picture of Mallory as a threat. He's not saying verbatim, oh, we're getting rid of Mallory, but for all of Barrett's issues, of which there are many, including his lack of spine, he has seen enough Big Brother to kind of be like, I recognize what's happening here. I know what you're trying to do, Devins.
The other thing I wonder and feel like Barrett maybe deep down realizes is that him and Drew are playing the same game.
Mhm.
So if Drew throws the Blockbuster to Mallory, Mallory stays, Melody's still there, Barrett still has the three of them. If Drew ends up going, that's not necessarily the worst for Barrett's game. I mean, because having Barrett and Drew both running information, playing the same game, there can really only be one of them that ends up getting brought to the end as the person who's probably going to be in second place. So why would Barrett really want to go too much deeper into the game with Drew?
Well, that's the thing. We've also seen Barrett throw Drew under the bus like so many times. Like, I think that's something that might be bouncing around in his head. Barrett, at the very least, went and recounted some of what he heard from Devins to Drew, and it kind of made him be like, oh, was this the plan the whole time? Were they just trying to get Mallory out and they wanted us to believe all of these other things? And it's like, technically, Barrett's not actually right here. Mallory wasn't the plan from the very start of
Right.
this week, but he is right that Mallory is the target, and it's kind of this weird dynamic where it felt like once upon a time, not that long ago, Drew was the one that was like, oh, we should turn on the crossovers. We should do something. And Barrett was like, no, 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 no. Now, Barrett seems to be the one like entertaining these thoughts. And Drew is just like, no, 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 no. We can't do that now.
Right. But at the same time, I mean, if they're not being very clear
Mhm.
with Barrett about the vote, could he play ignorance about it a little bit later and kind of get the votes together on the other side to either keep Drew or keep Mallory if Mallory's still up there and she's possibly
Mhm.
going to be going home? And then later to the icons be like, you didn't tell me what the plan was. I vote with you all season
Mhm.
long. My understanding is we are the mosh pit and we're not letting our people go. Why would I think that you're letting Mallory go? Nobody sat down with me and told me. He
They're
could get away with that.
He could. And the Icons are playing a very dangerous game right now. It's just because everything this season has gone their way. I think we can all look at this
Yes.
with realism, from production, from these other players. Even now, we have all these people having new conversations with the Icons that I think they believe they can spin all this around, eventually make it more clear to both Barrett and Drew that this is what we actually want, and act like, oh, we came to this decision kind of suddenly and you're just finding it out now. Barrett's already aware of this, but this is, I think, the problem is that there are two different kinds of Big Brother players who are on
Hmm.
the outside. There are those who are completely delusional, have no idea about anything. And then there are those who aren't delusional, who know things and still do not care. And that is the person who I believe Barrett currently is. And that is why it is very frustrating.
Yes, that's the person he's been all season.
Yeah, and I think that there is something in the back of Barrett's head right now that makes him feel like I can be sort of Steve Moses, where I can go to the end with this really big threat, like Steve did Vanessa, get rid of them right before final two, and this will garner me all this respect. That may be Barrett's head, I think his heart's probably telling him a slightly different story.
Hmm.
Also, Steve won a lot of competitions. Barrett, what have you actually done so far?
Well, Steve and Barrett have not played any similar game at all. Steve was not just like a lapdog for one person the whole game.
Yeah, I'm just really curious if Barrett is going to sit down and try to find a way to suggest this to Drew, because I think the problem is being like, you should throw the blockbuster. Somebody is immediately going to think, like, I would think, oh, you actually just want me to be evicted this
That's right.
week. And
Yes.
so it's an interesting conversation. Maybe he's going to think that Drew will eventually come up with this idea on his own because Drew has talked about wanting Taylor to go this week.
Yeah, I just don't really see a scenario where Drew would really do something like this unless the icons were there pushing him to throw it to Mallory. Listen, we understand we're all in the mosh pit. We really want to keep both of you safe. We're worried that there's going to be some votes on Mallory, so throw it to Mallory, and then of course we'll vote for you. But the icons are not doing that, and the icons are the people who are telling Drew what to do. He's not going to listen to Barrett.
It's the whole situation with all of these newbies collectively is sort of like somebody has come over the loudspeaker and been like, at the end of this straight line, there is a bar of chocolate waiting for all of you. And yet they start running the other direction. It's just, you guys do
Hmm.
not see what's obvious and in front of you. And you keep trying to find any way other than acknowledging maybe there's some better possibilities than the game that I'm playing. Like, for example, let's have a conversation about Mallory, who I think is 95% still refusing to accept any responsibility for the position in the game that she is in at all.
It is 100% Mallory's fault. It is not any percent anybody else's fault. She decided to throw the HOH
Yes.
when before that she had a conversation and she knew that this alliance, the Mosh Pit, was out of complete convenience. And even if it wasn't, they were at the very bottom of it. There's not that many people left in the
Mhm.
house. And she still made that decision. This is entirely her own fault, but she will not take responsibility for it. It's everybody else's fault. It's Drew's fault. It's Barrett's fault. It's everybody's fault.
Like, you guys still made the decision that we're going to put all of our trust in Drew and Barrett, that we're going to go along with what they are saying, even if we've had all of these other reservations, even if Dee has put Mallory on the block before. And beyond all that, both Mallory and Melody, they have had chances to build bonds with other people in the
Yep.
house, to try to figure something else out, to maybe make it so that they had a bigger allegiance with Yash at some point, so that Yash was less inclined to ever take a bribe, or maybe there was a way that he would come clean to them about that bribe that he still is not talking about with a lot of people. They have just made it so much of their strategy. We'll hang out with FAP, and then we will complain about literally anything and everything that is going on in the house around us.
Yes, which is very hard to watch on the feeds.
Yeah, and that's why it's so hard. I want to root for the underdogs. Jess and I both, we love rooting for underdogs.
Yeah,
and
but I am not rooting for Mallory or Melody at all. I'm just not.
no, they've made it impossible, where it is like they spend a lot of time complaining. They spend a lot of time crying. Like, Mallory.
And a lot of time just being a bit entitled and making rude comments about other people in the house. And I know that there's lots of people that are doing it,
Mhm.
but they've been doing it a lot lately.
Yeah, and they have. And like, I think that sense of entitlement is keeping them from having conversations with the people they really need to, where it's just like, okay, how about instead of being concerned with who's making food and what's going on with that situation in the house, how about you spend some time being like, maybe I need to have a conversation with Lala, where I know she's not going to get rid of Taylor. I mean, her and Taylor are close, but what can I do to get her on my side so that if I stay long term, I'm going to be in so much of a better spot?
Maybe you could make some food for Lala and you could make some food for the house and be like, Lala, you've been cooking for everybody all season. Thank you. Thank you. Look at what I've made for you.
Okay, so it's literally just right now when it feels like Mallory is starting to wake up and have a little bit of conversations, campaigns. Like, she just a few minutes ago, she wanted to go and talk to Dee. She went up to the HOH room, made it clear she's interested, but then Dee made it clear that she would rather talk to Taylor right now instead, which caused Mallory to spiral a little bit. Eventually, she has gotten in there, but everything she's saying is just variations of, I really do want to make it work with you. I'm sorry I didn't talk with you sooner. We can protect each other. And I just think if you're D at this point, like all of that stuff, you're not listening to it. Like you don't have any incentive. You've made your lot of where you stand in the game at this point.
And you know that Mallory's not telling the truth. That's the biggest issue here. Like, if Mallory's really gonna make a deal, it's got to be way bigger than we can just protect each other. That doesn't really mean anything. You're not really promising anything. You're not like, if I go to the end, I will make sure you're there with me. How about I promise you I will never put you on the block the entire game? Like real promises to get through this.
Yeah, you have to do something more than the bare minimum, and that is all she is doing. Whereas Taylor, yeah, it feels like a lot of people already have their minds made up, and that's fine. But Taylor has gone throughout the day and had a
Mhm.
lot of conversations with a lot of the house, despite feeling like she has been freezed out, which she has.
Yeah.
Her going and talking to Devins, where Devins
Mhm.
even admitted later to Lala that Taylor had a really, really good pitch.
Yep.
Like she tried to have a good conversation with Barrett while Barrett was working out. And Barrett even admitted to her that he felt like D putting Mallory up was a little bit of a slap in the face. And that is actually something that Taylor could run back and get Barrett in some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, how much trouble? I don't know, because Dee did say that it's okay for him to talk smack about her.
Yeah, I just think that Taylor's doing what she can at this point. She's telling people what they want to hear. I think Taylor still knows, all right, I do need to go out here, win the blockbuster. I think she wants to win the
Mhm.
blockbuster. I'm just happy that she's in a really good frame of mind about things today, especially because over the past couple of days, it's felt a lot like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to be here anymore, and for pretty understandable reasons.
There's been a lot of people that have definitely felt that this season and have expressed that this season. I think it feels like even more than other seasons. Like we've always heard a couple people each season,
Mm.
but there's been an awful lot of people this season that have just had it with this game and are like really feeling like they just want to leave.
Yeah, the vibes in this house, they're just not good. They're just really, really negative,
Yeah.
and I think people can read that. But okay, there's a couple of other little odds and ends we'll get on here before we wrap this video up. And one of them is just like Drew's complete refusal. It's so weird because he felt like he saw the light previously, and now he just doesn't want to see anything. Like
Yeah.
Yash had this conversation last night, and he basically insinuated, Drew, you don't want to be compared at any point to Vince from last season, who was completely spineless. At least Vince won a lot more competitions than Drew did.
Listen, there's, the beginning of the season Vince, and then there's the end of the season Vince. And these two Vinces are not the same Vinces. I think many of us can agree on that.
Yes.
He did not play the same game that he did once he was like paired up with Morgan that he was playing at the beginning of the season. He was not spineless then. He was playing a really solid game that is ridiculous. Also, everybody's sort of like looking back, being like, we all miss Vince. We all like
Yes.
Vince. It's very interesting.
It-
So, what are you talking about?
No, this is a situation where if somebody says this to you in the house, like I think you really need to acknowledge, oh, this person's probably not going to vote for me at the end. They think that I'm
Right.
spineless, and so Drew needs to awaken to some of that. But like finally, Lala, she's having more conversations with Devins and Barrett, trying to figure out ways to work with other people. Yes, there's a chance that they're lying to her, that none of this even matters. But I just think for Lala, anything that can get her further in the game, yes, she hasn't been the best player, but I think a lot of us are kind of rooting for Lala right now.
Okay, Lala hasn't been the worst player either. I'm just going to say that right now. Barrett has been the worst player for me. Like, just attaching yourself to a big alliance and being a soldier for somebody is not playing any game at all. Lala has been out there winning competitions. She has been trying to bring the house together by, cooking meals, trying to make, she's even said, I want to use this as a part of strategy to
Mhm.
make sure that everybody's fed because, a full belly can, open up conversations. She's not wrong. So I just feel like she's not playing the worst game. Like, yes, she has said some things. Yes, strategically, she's messed up some things, but it is easily not the worst game of the players that are still in the house.
She does have a good story, and that's going to be a
And
hard
she
thing.
has an excellent story.
Yeah, well, that's where we are coming out of today in the Big Brother 28 live feeds. But let's hear from you guys. Do you think there's any chance that Drew could be convinced to throw the Blockbuster? Is this the only way that all of FAP can't stick around here? Let us know, and be sure to join our YouTube memberships for our new exclusive
Mhm.
mid-season rankings. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see you here next time.